The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
We are in a holding pattern until Linkon Cure and 24/7 Sports go live as we await the announcement. Linkon Cure out of Goodland High School, Goodland, Kansas. They're on the west side of the state, closer to the border than it is Manhattan, Kansas.
Yeah, someone pointed out that today, and I was like, yeah, plus they're in the same time zone.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
Goodland is that close
Goodland
to the
is in the
border?
Mountain time zone.
Oh, okay.
Total pain in the butt when you're trying to promote a ball game broadcast.
The 6'6" tight end, 210 pounds, the 5-star recruit. That is now the industry ranking from On3. The industry ranking is 5 stars. K-State looking to land its biggest high school commit of all time. Linkon Cure, Goodland, is just a matter of moments away from making his decision, as this is a part of the 24/7 Sports College Football Recruiting Show. He'll do a live on that show. Courtesy of our friends of K-State Online, they're also going to bring us the live feed. Their live feed is also on YouTube. And we just wait here in a few moments. Linkon Cure will be making his announcement. AJ is watching everything unfold. He will give us a signal when everything is ready to go. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what we can have for you in store here today on the show. Well, welcome to the Big 12 5.0, guys. We're in a new era for the second straight year of Big 12 football as we say goodbye to Texas and Oklahoma, and we welcome back Colorado. Right. We welcome in Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State. Wamego head coach Weston Moody for the second straight Monday will join us as his team won the Shrine Bowl. The East Side ends its losing streak. We'll chat with Weston Moody, Coach Moody of the Wamego Red Raiders, coming up at about 4:40. Stump the Shaw at 5:10. There's a guy that out of, I believe, the Wichita area. His name's Michael. And he emailed me and said, listen, I got what it takes to take on the Shaw. The Shaw is going down.
Okay.
He specifically requested to be on Stump the Shaw. I was like, you know what? I like it. I like the enthusiasm. You're coming on, and we're going to have him on to stump the Shaw, attempt to stump the Shaw at 5:10. My top 100 TV things of all time coming up at 5:40, 60 through 56. Ask us anything, we'll wrap it up. AJ just informed me we're about 2 minutes away from the Linkon Cure announcement. By the way, Big 12 Media Day is coming up next week in Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. K-State announced who their player representatives will be. And K-State's sending 5 guys. 5 guys, not the food, 5 players to Vegas. Avery Johnson, Hadley Panzer, Austin Moore, Brendan Mott, Marquis Siegel. And I'm sure some might be thinking, interesting that DJ Giddens is not going. Listen, DJ is a phenomenal person. His interview is always interesting. Actually, He's quietly a phenomenal interview. Maybe it'd just be too much for him. I don't know. But we typically would only get DJ after a big game, after a game too. So, but we're just standing by. We're waiting for 24/7 Sports to get to the Linkon Cure announcement, and we will bring it to you live here on News Radio KMAN. A lot of our friends in the media are there as well at Goodland High School. Moments ago, we were going through his offer list, which is just incredible. And once again, if you look at the industry ranking, he is a 5-star, a top 30 player in the entire nation. This is a very good class for the state of Kansas, by the way. Last year was really good, and somehow this class for 2025 has topped that. So this is going to be a very fun year for Kansas high school football in 2024, where these class of 25 athletes are all seniors. Taylor Bratt, Brian LePack, Chris Kleiman looking to land a monster get for K-State football to keep one of the best players in potentially Kansas high school football history with still a year to go. Can the Cats land a 5-star kid? Again, we're just moments away. We are just waiting for the ceremony to start. Lincoln's been at this table for 25, 30 minutes almost at this point, ready for 24/7 Sports to send him the signal.
His dad looked uncomfortable to begin with.
Well, they've both been kind of on their phones. There's microphones in front of them. Linkon Cure has four hats in front of him. And again, we've known the four finalists for a while. But K-State, KU, Oregon, and Texas A&M. But Oregon got a Kansas tight end commitment over the weekend, and that's Derby's Desan Brame. So I would imagine you can take Oregon out of the picture. You never know.
Right.
But K-State has been a favorite for a long time. Everybody we've interviewed about Linkon Cure has favored K-State. That momentum hasn't changed. Now, Linkon Cure, who is Lincoln's older brother and also a tight end, is transferring to KU this year. So does that take KU out of it? I don't know if it does. I mean, I would think it would actually keep KU in it because they're brothers. He could go play football with his brother. Maybe he wants to do his own thing. So, again, we are just standing by. We're waiting for 24/7 Sports to continue their show. I'm actually watching it a little bit right now. They're on Future 50 standouts, and right next on the ticker there, it's like the old Sports Center ticker where they just show everything in order on the left side. This is on the bottom of the screen. Linkon Cure announces decision is coming up next. So we're gonna stay here. We're not going anywhere, even though we got a break coming up. We're not going anywhere. We are sticking with this until 24/7 Sports is ready to take this thing live. We're not taking the audio from them, though. It's our friends at K-State Online who are there in person. Derek Young, Mason Voth, Drew Galloway, they're all there for this announcement. So we are just standing by, and this is going to really – and by the way, there's an interesting nugget about if K-State – gets this 5-star commitment. I could give you a list of programs that don't have a 5-star yet.
Ooh.
For the 2025 class. It's going to sound a little bit surprising, I'm sure, if I give you that list. But I'm waiting for – don't want to jinx anything. We're just waiting for the announcement. AJ, how are you feeling about this? Let's let you chime in for just a moment. Are you nervous that Linkon Cure is going to pick somebody else other than K-State?
No, I think he's going to K-State.
Short and sweet.
Bold. I'm glad he's comfortable with it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm so used to close but no cigar.
Well, it's got to be, you listen, close and no cigar is a thing of the past. Not having a good control of the state of Kansas is a thing of the past. Even though early on in the Climate era, it was a bit of a bumpy road landing the in-state kids. That has changed. That is no longer the case. Even though this is a much more stacked of a class for just the state of Kansas where these industry rankings are, these star ratings, the overall talent has taken a big leap for the 2025 class. K-State is now looking to land, who's already ranked their third kid in the top 15.
True. By the way, Kellis Robinette with a epic tweet just a moment ago.
Okay.
Utilizing the Chappelle Show Wrap It Up.
Yeah, exactly. It's been the same four people talking for over 10 minutes. It's like, they're just kind of dragging you along. We're about to do this. They're talking about Lincoln right now. We're not going to air it because we don't have the rights.
Top notch, Kellis. Top notch. Well played. Because that's exactly how we all feel right now.
The Wrap It Up gift from the Chappelle Show.
Yep. Hit that light. Get that music going. Let's go.
Well, they're showing highlights of Linkon Cure right now. It's a highlight, first of all, as a wideout.
Nice.
Which he has, and that's where – the tight end position has become sexy, and we've seen Travis Kelce do it. Ben Sinnott could go line up anywhere.
Right.
That's what makes these guys next level tight ends is when you can line them up at different spots.
Well, and let's be perfectly honest, that's the way that the NFL game has gone, thanks to the influence of a Travis Kelce, as an example. And multiple other tight end. George Kittle's that way. It's not the same days even of Vernon Davis, to just give you a relatively recent reference in terms of how the game was played in terms of tight end. Now it is a situation where you try to spread them out a little bit more because it causes such a mismatch usually against linebackers.
All right, I think we're close.
Tick, 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 tick.
They're still talking about Lincoln. And again, we're not going to pot up the 24/7 broadcast. Boy, he went up and made a really crazy catch that should have been picked off. They're showing just back-to-back highlights of him playing, and not one of these highlights has he been lined up actually as a tight end.
Interesting.
So again, a 5-star from 24/7 Sports, and now the industry ranking from On3 lists Linkon Cure as a 5-star tight end. And the 26th best player in the nation. And again, we've been waiting now for all right, here we go. AJ, you ready to roll?
Yeah, let me
all right, here we go. Well, maybe. Is it working now?
Can you hear it?
It really means everything to me. To have that.
Okay, he's talking. He's talking to 24/7.
So, yeah, but I set that goal a while ago, and I worked. Every single day I worked myself to exhaustion. So to have those 5 stars, it absolutely means everything to me.
So we're not going to hear the questions from 24/7, but it'll be a matter of moments before he makes the decision. Again, we await the announcement from Linkon Cure, the 5-star tight end from Goodland, Kansas.
Isn't it great how it's always
Yeah,
turned
so I
into a show?
have my dad here and my mom here, and then obviously just the Banklick community. I have one of the best communities in the world, and they always have my back, so that means everything to me.
Again, the crummy part is right now 24/7 is doing a live on-air interview with Lincoln while Lincoln is messing around with microphones and seeing if everything works. And
I try to keep this short and sweet. First and foremost, I'd like to thank God for the blessing of an opportunity to have the experiences and be in the position I am today. None of this was possible without my faith. Thank you to everyone who came out today to support me in my decision. It really does mean the world to me that I have an amazing community that continues to be there for me. As you all know, this process was quite literally a dream come true. I remember going to bed every single night as a kid, promising myself that one day I'd be the one catching touchdowns for my favorite colleges. Some see it as a dream, but I promised myself I'd make it my future. Me and my brother Leighton would go out every single day and throw the football around. We would ask for real condition college football helmets every single Christmas just so we could feel a little bit more like our favorite players while hitting each other. We would go out and get all our friends around the block and play every chance we got. Unfortunately, that's probably where most of our injuries and fights happened. But I know every single person there that was, those are memories that we'd never forget. But we breathed and we lived sports as much as me and Leighton compete with each other. And I'll never admit to him, but I don't think he'll ever understand how much I look up to him as a player and as a person. Thank you to all the coaches that I have had an opportunity to play and work for. Thank you to each and every one of you for the impact you have made in my life. I promise it has not gone unnoticed. And I'm so appreciative of the knowledge and leadership you have instilled in me. Thank you for pushing me and demanding greatness out of me every single day. Thank you for the times you guys have pulled me aside and made sure I kept my head up when things weren't going the best. Thank you for always reminding me of my potential and the impact that I could have on my team. Thank you for the time and the energy you sacrificed and spent away from your families just so you could come be a coach and a role model to us kids. Thank you for stepping aside and letting me be a leader. Thank you to all my family for always being there for me. As you can see, we got a lot of Cures in the crowd. So I always look forward to holidays just so I can be all around all aunts and cousins. All of you always made me appreciate what it meant to be a part of a close family like ours and always have each other's backs. It's one of the things I always remember and value about my life. Thank you for making me feel loved. Thank you to all my friends throughout this process. My best memories were always spent with you guys, no matter what sort of thing we were doing. I wish I could break down some memories, but there are just too many. Thank you for all of those. Thank you guys for treating me as Lincoln and nothing more. Thank you guys for being my brothers. Thank you to all the collegiate coaches who I was blessed to be recruited by. It was a lot of fun getting to go experience things I only got to watch on TV. Thank you guys for all the visits you made out to Goodland to see me and my family. Thank you for all the visits I got to make to your colleges. One of the hardest things about this process was only getting to choose one school. It was truly amazing getting to develop relationships that go far beyond football, and I will forever cherish that. And last but not least, thank you to my mom and dad. From the moment I was born, you guys raised me the right way and told me to be a leader every day. Thank you for taking me to all my travel league games and demanding me to do better. Thank you for all the time and money you spent on me just so I could be happy. Thank you for all those times we argued. Thank you for pushing me to my limit every chance you got. Thank you for all the sacrifices you made for me. Thank you for being my parents. I promise it's all going to pay off one day. You guys are the real heroes. And to all the kids watching, no matter where you are or what you want to do, it's possible to reach your dreams. It's possible for each and every one of you to be in the seat I am today. I'm a living example of it. I believe in you, believe in yourself. It's you against you. Throughout this process, I've not forgotten who I am and where I come from. I pride myself on staying humble and staying true to myself. I can't sit here and say this was even slightly easy. I pushed myself to exhaustion every chance I got. I struggled mentally because I wanted it so bad and refused to fail. I worked myself to tears. I dealt with a crazy amount of pressure and stress on me to be the person and athlete I am today. All that is just a slight fraction of it, but I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I loved every second of it. I loved the lonely hours. I loved being able to work as hard as I have. I love and am so proud to be able to say that I am from out in the middle of nowhere, Goodland, Kansas. But I'm not done yet, and I'm nowhere close to where I'm going to be. Thank you all for being a part of my journey, as I hope to be a part of yours. This is just the beginning. So with all of that, for the next 3 to 4 years, my story will continue at Kansas State University.
Well, there you have it. Linkon Cure, the 5-star tight end from Goodland, Kansas, has selected the Kansas State Wildcats for where he will play college football for Brian LePack, his tight end coach, and, of course, head coach Chris Kleiman. A monster, humongous, gigantic commitment for K-State football. And they're now at Goodland. They have a video board above the basketball court. They're playing a video, a Linkon Cure video in K-State gear.
Nice.
That is, I've never seen this before. That is very cool. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll celebrate appropriately.
There you go.
As we do it here on the show, what this commitment means for K-State, what it means for the Big 12. Boy. Welcome to the new era of the Big 12, and welcome, Linkon Cure, to Manhattan, Kansas. The game continues next.
You're listening to The Game on News Radio KMAN.
I feel like we're on the holiday road to Goodland, Kansas.
Been there, done that, driven back.
And it's coming right on back to Manhattan, Kansas. If you just missed it, K-State fans, K-State has just landed the highest-rated high school football commit in K-State history. Linkon Cure, the 26th best player in the nation from Goodland, Kansas. That's according to 24/7 Sports. The 5-star tight end, 6'6". Just moments ago, picked K-State over KU, Texas A&M, and Oregon. Welcome back to the game. Mitch Fortner, Trey Coverdale, AJ Shaw joins us. We're taking it to 6 o'clock. No Royals baseball tonight. Just take the night to celebrate this big achievement for K-State football. And I mentioned a few names. Wasn't just those names. It was a full effort from this staff to land Linkon Cure. And he mentioned there during his announcement, he shouted out a lot of people, gave a lot of thank yous. But at one point mentioned there was only one school that he felt like he had built bonds that'll last way past football. It's not the first time we've heard this about this staff. This staff that's been pretty much intact for a while now, the last couple of years, last 2 or 3 years, other than at a couple of positions like offensive coordinator, where we've seen a couple of changes. But you got to shout out Connor Riley, offensive coordinator, Matt Wells, quarterback coach, also co-offensive coordinator. Colin Klein, I'm sure, had something to do with this as well with his time at K-State. Taylor Bratt, at one point with the coaching staff, made the drive out to Goodland to recruit the 5-star tight end, the number 2 tight end. We're not talking in Kansas. We're talking in the nation. It was a full effort to land Linkon Cure, and I'm sure they got to be celebrating. If they're not in Goodland, they're at the football complex celebrating this commitment.
Absolutely. And in fact, if you check the assorted tweets that go with the K-State football account, yeah, they are online, definitely, because they got their man. They got the guy that they had targeted above and beyond targeted in this coming class. And then you realize that they continue to push this class out and beyond, as you and DY had talked about previously, looking at double-digit likelihood of commitments, and we're well beyond that now.
Taylor Bratt released the Bring on the Cats that had a few more S's, 5 to be exact, with his, of course, Bring on the Cats, which is a staple from Taylor Bratt, the director of football recruiting for EMAW Class 2025. And I mentioned, this would be to give you an example of recent classes, of course, 2023, this would be the Avery Johnson of the class. Yet, even though that is the comparison now, recruiting has taken a major next step.
Right.
A major next step. And it's not every class. It's certainly not every class that the state of Kansas has a 5-star recruit, depending on what source, your recruiting source you're looking at. 24/7 Sports had Linkon Cure as a 5-star tight end. And this was over a year in the making. It started with camps going back to last year, getting the ball rolling there. It was over a year ago that took place. And now we stand here July 1st, 2024, where we enter a new era of the Big 12. Texas and Oklahoma are out. And guess what? K-State lands the first tight end. I shouldn't say tight end. They land the first 5-star. Oklahoma doesn't have a 5-star yet.
Wow.
Texas doesn't have a 5-star yet. Oklahoma State doesn't have a 5-star yet. Arizona doesn't have a 5-star yet. Utah doesn't have a 5-star yet. KU doesn't have a 5-star. Texas Tech doesn't have a 5-star. Baylor doesn't have a 5-star. TCU doesn't have a 5-star. Kansas State has a 5-star.
I'm curious, though, with Taylor, how many stops at Crazy R's he had. How many meals he ate there as part of the recruiting process.
Is that the only place to eat there?
It's one of the better places to eat there.
One of the better places? Yeah. Shout out to him.
Yeah. One of those places where you run into everybody type of things.
Well, let's get the two in a booth. We'll take the picture. We'll have Taylor Bratt and Linkon Cure sign the wall.
There you go. Call it
the Linkon Cure booth.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
That's where the work really went down. The discussions over breaking bread. What kind of restaurant is it?
It's typical bar and grill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, who isn't down for that?
I mean, you'll have occasion where, someone famous may rumble through on their way through hunting, say like a John Elway.
I'll give you a few more before we, really celebrate this one. We'll get to that here in just a second. But a couple more things about this commitment for K-State. Again, Linkon Cure picks K-State over Texas A&M, over KU, where his brother just transferred to, and Oregon, who just picked up Desan Brame out of Derby High School, which, by the way, Derby not on Manhattan High's schedule this year. They had a home and home the last couple of years, and Manhattan played against him twice. Mm-hmm. This is now 4 commitments out of the state of Kansas, and I've got a feeling that'll just continue to grow. Martell Jackson at corner. You also have the latest before Lincoln was Brock Heath out of Blue Valley Northwest. He's an offensive lineman. More work by Connor Riley, who's doing a great job once again at recruiting linemen. And then Blue Valley linebacker McGuire Richmond, which that just continues that Blue Valley K-State pipeline. Mm-hmm. So now number 4 in the class out of Kansas, number 12 overall for 2025. AJ, I feel like there's a song we need to play to celebrate this commitment. AJ, do you know what song I'm talking about?
Well, Ray Charles sang it. I know that.
Wrong song.
Wrong song. I'm talking about one of the buttons over here.
It's time to
go.
Get set for the cat attack.
You can feel the excitement. You can feel it coming on. For Kansas State, the feeling's growing strong. You can join in the action. This is where you want to be. With Kansas State, come on, set your spirit free. Kansas State, our pride is with the Cats. Kansas State, come on, join the Cat Attack. Kansas State, excitement's in the air. Kansas State, the fun is being there. Having a good time there. Purple and white we share. Showing our colors everywhere. Kansas State, our pride is with the Cats. Kansas State, come on, join the Cat Attack.
Linkon Cure is a cat. He becomes the highest get, as in rated, starred, nationally ranked. K-State just landed the biggest commitment out of high school in K-State football history. When we come back, we'll be joined by Wamego head football coach Weston Moody, who just led the East team to a Shrine Bowl victory this past weekend. You're listening to The Game.
Your home for K-State sports.
Hello, I'm Tex Winter, head basketball coach at Kansas State University.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
AJ, you just gave me a thought. There's a song we got to play leading into second hours. So, not going to spoil it though, but I feel like it is necessary. Okay. Well, over the weekend, the East team ends a losing streak. The first time since 2018 has the East team beat the West in the Shrine Bowl, 36-25. The final score, East team wins it. Their head coach was Wamego's head coach, Weston Moody, who now joins us here on The Game. Coach, really appreciate your time. So, going back to the conversation we had last week, we talked about how you're going to have a very short time for preparation. Both sides will have the same time to use, but it wasn't a lot of time to get to know these 45 different players that you're not used to coaching. But even with that short time, how well did your team execute? How well did your team play this past weekend in Emporia?
Pretty well. I mean, if you talk about installing, a good majority of our offense on, in a week's time, it's pretty incredible what they did. But, they bought into, practicing 3 times a day. And, we didn't necessarily do that last year. We kind of took some time off and gave them a little bit more rest. And we asked these guys, how much can you take? And they took it on full bore. We went 3 days and, a couple days at 115-degree heat. And, that's a lot to ask of guys that are playing an all-star game. And so I was pretty proud of the way we executed.
Well, I'd like to ask you about a handful of the individual players that performed very well. Dylan Dunn is he's going to be heading to BYU. He was your starting quarterback, and he was really good. 25 receptions out of 33 attempts, 307, 4 touchdowns. He set the Shrine Bowl record for completions. That kid's he's pretty talented, isn't he? Oh my God, he is special. I mean, we knew going into it how special he was just by watching the film. But I'm talking as far as like overall, just very high IQ, great kid. Not a lot of the time do you get a kid that comes back after each series and kind of tells the coaches what he's seeing out there, things that he likes. Throughout the week, we pulled him in and watched some film, and very high IQ. That helped a bunch, especially since
during the Shrine Bowl, nobody really knows this, but in a normal football game, we have guys in the box that are looking for specific things. They can see the entire field. There's film on the sideline that you can pull kids and show them things that we see as coaches. We didn't have that in the Shrine Bowl. It's all sideline, and so we needed those guys to kind of be our eyes as far as coaches. So they come back to the sideline, and just a bunch of football guys, just guys that not only play the game hard but also study the game hard. So that contributed to a lot of success.
Yeah, Dylan Dunn wins the Gary Spaney Award for the East MVP. Now, there's a couple of tackles I have to ask you about. Caden Massey, Gus Hawkins, they're part of the Cats 2024 recruiting class. Two of the best players in the class, in my opinion. How good were those two?
Well, anytime you decide to throw that much, you put a lot on those tackles, and we put a lot on those guys, and they played probably 99% of the snaps on Saturday. And then we knew they would have to, especially once the West kind of got an idea of our game plan when Dylan was in the game. They were fantastic. I mean, they dealt with rushing, blitzes, things that, we can't really show them in practice because we don't know what the West is going to do. So having those guys on the edge to protect Dylan and kind of form a pocket and give him time, that was our primary worry. Was we knew Dylan was going to be able to make throws, and we knew our receivers were going to be able to catch the ball. But having protection and having enough time to do that is another story. So having those guys, I mean, K-State's getting two elite tackles that are only going to get better. I look at them right now, and I'm like, they have the perfect stature and the perfect mindset to be pretty special for the Wildcats. So I'm looking forward to watching those guys and being down the road, 15 minutes from Manhattan. I go over there a little bit to watch some practices, so it'll be fun to reconnect and watch those guys grow over the years.
Yeah, that offense and defense for the East Side helped build that 3-score lead and never gave that up as your East team won 36-25 in the 51st annual Shrine Bowl. And I was reading a little bit about the game this afternoon, and it was the first win for the East in 2018. Now, I've never been a part of a Weston Moody pregame speech or anything, or a hype speech. Did you use that as some bulletin board material or something to fire your guys up?
Oh, all week long, that was the story. And I didn't know, the West-East rivalry too much until last year when I saw it, kind of being on that side. I got to be more of an observer. I wasn't the head coach last year. I was able to kind of see, hey, what's the West identity and what's the East identity, and learning just, the West has a lot of tradition. Obviously, they've won more games in this series than any, so that was definitely kind of a motivation for us, was to bring it back to the East and kind of have a chip on our shoulder a little bit, kind of like a little brother type mentality. And those guys, I think that motivated them throughout the week. And then, obviously talking to them before the game, kind of reiterating that this is the last game they're going to be playing with that helmet and that logo on their helmet. So I think that motivated our guys. They were pretty jacked up. They didn't want to come out of. Some of those guys didn't want to come out of the game, and we had some guys with some bumps and bruises throughout that game, and they had the mentality like, hey, this is an all-star game, but this is also a prideful thing and a thing that they want their legacy to live on through being that team that ended the streak.
Did you like seeing the game moved up a handful of weeks, not played in the middle of July? It was played at the end of June.
Oh, yeah, that definitely helps. As far as, us as coaches, knowing that we have a week off. This is a vacation moratorium week this week, so, there's nothing going on. There's no weights. There's no football. It definitely helped re-energize us as coaches, knowing that, hey, we got a little bit of time, so let's dive into this. And we had some fantastic coaches on our side that were all kind of bought into their role. And I think it definitely contributed to all of our groups, and not only just the offense, but the defense really buying into, hey, let's bring this back to the East Side this year.
Well, you mentioned with the week off, no weights or anything. When you do get back to it, what's next in the prep for Wamego? Do you have any camps coming up or anything?
Yeah, we'll get this week off, and then we come back on July 8th. That's our team camp. So it's kind of a week where we can show them, hey, this is what a normal week would be like of prep. And then on Thursday, we welcome some teams to do a padded camp at Wamego. So it's kind of a, hey, this is what it's going to look like during the season, and then go through practices throughout the week, and then suit it up and pad up and treat it kind of like a game week.
Are there any ground rules for the boys because you guys are in Boomtown, you're about to have the biggest 4th of July celebration in the state. I mean, are you telling the guys, take it easy on the funnel cakes, take it easy with the fireworks, anything like that?
Hard to do that, but these guys are, they treat it, and that's part of what our identity too is. We do a lot of help with the preparation for the celebration on July 4th. We do a huge fireworks display, and our guys are kind of critical to make that thing work. We load up or we unload all the mortars, and we help the pyro crew clean up the day after. So they don't get a lot of stuff. I mean, they celebrate, obviously, but, the next morning on July 5th, we wake up early. We go out and see the destruction and what took place the night before, and we help pick up and we help get those guys the help that they need, because as they're getting older, they tell us, it's getting harder and harder on them to do everything. Before I got here, there's not a lot of help that went on. The football team helped a little bit, but I think the entire town has bought into helping them out, and we know it's a huge show, but there's a lot of hands that go into it. So they don't get a lot of time to rest on that, but they enjoy it, and they enjoy being a part of it, and it kind of gives us an identity throughout the season, because those guys shoot off fireworks before a game, and they come out and play music every once in a while and feed us watermelon, and so it's kind of a great relationship. So I'm pretty proud of our guys and the work that they do during that time.
Wamego coach Weston Moody is our guest here on The Game. And I've mentioned this actually a couple of times on my K-Rock show promoting Boomtown, that on your uniforms it literally says Boomtown on the chest. Was that your idea to put that on there?
I think it was not necessarily my idea, but I felt like that was kind of our identity and what we want to be prideful in, and what our town does on the July 4th holiday. And it means more than just fireworks. It means having camaraderie and helping out and servant leadership, and that's what football is. Football is a sport of roles, and each kid has his role. Not all of them are going to be the stars and get to do interviews and all that, but the important thing is that you do your job and everything's going to be all right.
Man, the season is a little more than 2 months away. It's going to be here before we know it. Congratulations on the win in the Shrine Bowl. Best of luck continuing to prep for this upcoming season. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. And the Shrine Bowl gave me a little bit of, a future into, hey, football season's right around the corner, and we're excited. It was a good victory, but now my eyes are shifted to the Boomtown football, and we're going to be ready to go for the 2024 season.
And once again, thank you to Weston Moody for joining us here on The Game. The head coach of the Wamego Red Raiders, entering his 7th season, back-to-back years, making a sub-state championship game. Now he's got another great team on hand to compete in 2024. That season will be here before we know it. So once again, congratulations to Coach Moody, his staff, his team. Again, Gus Hawkins, Caden Massey, Colin Bardell, all on that team who are a part of the 2024 K-State football recruiting class. Mm-hmm. So congratulations to those guys. Meanwhile, we're wrapping up hour 1 of the game. Got to pull up that song, get ready for hour number 2. Now, make sure not to go anywhere, because once again, AJ puts the title on the line. A gentleman out of the 316 area code sent me an email last week. After last week's show, he's like, I'm ready to take on the Shaw. I've got what it takes to stump the Shaw. Pressure is on. It was a close one last week with Hannibal.
But enough about Mason Voth.
It's not Mason.
Okay.
It would have been fun if it were Mason. I would have loved to have faced Mason, and let's just do straight baseball trivia. Myself and Mason.
You would beat him.
I would?
I've tried that before with Mason, and Mason's decent at it, but he's not like at your level.
I mean, probably not on drafts, but I feel like on his Royals stuff.
We could just do a Royals Stump the Shaw.
Okay.
Would you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Not today, of course. We got our things today. But
Stump the Shaw at 5:10. We'll once again talk about Linkon Cure, the 5-star tight end committing to K-State. At 5:25, my top TV theme songs of all time, 60 through 56. And Ask Us Anything, all coming up in hour 2. Here comes CBS News. You're listening to The Game on News Radio KMAN.